Welcome to session 6 of module 2. So in this session, we are going to take up one example on calculation of the gate capacitances as well as the junction capacitances, and also we will take up the next topic in module 2, that is frequency response of the common source amplifier. So here one example problem is given. So for an N-channel MOSFET with a specification like T oxide equal to 10 nanometer, length 1 micrometer, width 10 micrometer, and this overlapping length L overlap equal to 0.05 micrometer, and the specifications like CSB naught and CDB naught both equal to 10 femtofarads, with V naught equal to 0.6 volts, and VSB 1 volt, and VDB equal to 2 volts. Okay, so we need to calculate different capacitances like C oxide, C overlap, that is overlap capacitance, COV, CGS, CGD, and CDB. Okay, and here the condition is the transistor is operating in saturation. Okay, so therefore let us take the solution here. So the first one is it is given that the MOSFET is in saturation. So therefore while calculating CGS we can consider that. So let us first calculate this C oxide, which is nothing but the basic capacitance here. So first one, C oxide. So C oxide will be given by epsilon oxide by T oxide. So this will be equal to 3.9 into epsilon naught by T oxide. Okay, so C oxide will be equal to 3.9 into, so epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 farad per meter, divided by, so the T oxide is 10 into 10 to the power of minus 9. Okay, so T oxide is given as 10 nanometer, so 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. Okay, so C oxide value and the simplification we are going to get actually equal to 3.45 into 10 to the power of minus 3 farad per meter square. Okay, so or with little modification, this can be represented as farad per micrometer square in femtofarad units. Okay, so this will be equal to 3.45 femtofarad per micrometer square. So just 3.45 into 10 to the power of minus 3 farad per meter square is expressed in a femto unit. C oxide equal to 3.45. Femto is 10 to the power of minus 15 farad divided by micrometer square. Okay, so 10 to the power of minus 6 square. So on simplification, again you are going to get 3.45 into 10 power minus 3 farad per meter square only. So this is the value of the first capacitance, C oxide. Okay, next we have to calculate the overlapping capacitance, C overlapping. Okay, so C overlapping or overlap capacitance is equal to W into LOV into C oxide. So width is given as 10 micrometer, length is 0.05 micrometer as per the given problem. This is in 3.45 into 10 to the power of minus 15 farad per micrometer square. So the micrometer in the numerator and micrometer square the denominator will get cancelled. So overlapping capacitance will be 1.72 femtofarads. Okay. Then this overlapping capacitance has to be added with CGS and CGD. So next we will calculate the CGS value. CGS. So it is given that the MOSFET is in saturation. Okay. So therefore, so CGS will be equal to 2/3 of WL C oxide for the saturation condition. Okay. So substituting the width length 2/3 into W was 10 micrometer, length is 1 micrometer, into this is 3.45 femtofarad per micrometer squares. Okay, so therefore micrometers all units will be cancelled. 23 femtofarad will be the answer. 10 micrometer, this will be 1 micrometer. Okay, so this gets cancelled with the micrometer square in the denominator. Resulting CGS will be 23. But to this CGS we also have to add this overlap capacitance also. So 23 femtofarad plus COV was 1.72. So 1.72 femtofarad. So this is going to give 24.7 femtofarads. That is CGS value. Okay. Then similarly fourth one, CGD. So CGD will be 0. Okay, so CGD is actually 0 for the MOSFET operating in the saturation, but with this what we have to add is overlap capacitance. So therefore this will be equal to 1.72 femtofarads. So next one more we are going to calculate is CSB. That is, all the previous were the gate capacitive effects. Now CSB and CDB are the junction capacitances. So for junction capacitances we have the formula CSB naught by root of 1 plus VSB by V naught. So in the problem itself it is given CSB naught is 10 femtofarad by 1 plus VSB value. So VSB value is 1 volt. Therefore we will take here 1 volt by V naught was given as 0.6 volts. So on simplification we are going to get 6.12 femtofarads. Okay. So similarly we have the next CDB capacitance, which is equal to CDB naught by root of 1 plus VDB by V naught. So this is again 10 femtofarad by root of 1 plus, so VDB was given as 2 volts in the problem. Okay. This VDB is 2 volts, so let us substitute here. Okay, 2 volts by 0.6 volts. Okay. So therefore CDB equal to 4.8 femtofarads. Okay. So therefore this is an example, a simple example to show how to calculate the different junction capacitances and the gate capacitances in case of MOSFETs. So therefore with this we come to the conclusion of the discussion regarding the capacitive effects. So next what we have is the frequency response of the common source amplifier. So now under the frequency response of common source amplifier, so we are going to discuss as a first topic the 3 frequency bands. Okay. So now our discussion will be related to the circuit shown in the figure. It's a common amplifier, common source amplifier circuit with the current mirror biasing provided. So here the meanings of the notations are as usual, but here one thing we should note here is, now as our topic is now related with the frequency response, so then frequency of the input signal will come into picture, and also all the voltages and currents are the functions of the frequency now. So therefore here the notations are little bit modified. Okay, so now onwards we are going to write the signal source voltage as capital V and small sig as a suffix. Similarly, for VGS, get to source voltage, capital V small gs, and drain voltage will be capital VD, and output voltage will be V0. Okay, that is particularly for the frequency response of common source amplifier. So we will be using the notations. Okay, so V SIG, that is capital V to represent the signal, and then capital VGS to represent VGS, capital VD to represent the drain voltage, and capital V suffix O to represent the output. That is uppercase letters with the lowercase subscripts will be used now. Okay. So therefore now the main topic of discussion here is how the gain of the common source MOSFET amplifier depends on frequency of the input signal. Okay, so now we will have to derive the gain equations and all, which will show the dependency of all these parameters, like importantly the gain with respect to the frequency of the input signal. Okay, so therefore now with respect to this circuit, let us take the 3 frequency bands in the response. But before that, so the meanings of all this CC1, CC2, they are the coupling capacitors at the input and output respectively. So RSIG, we know from our previous discussion also, it is the internal resistance of the signal source that is connected as the input. So RG is nothing but a very large resistance which acts as a Rin, that is input resistance of the amplifier. RD is the drain resistance, and CS is the bypass capacitor, and here we have a load resistor RL. Okay. Now in the previous analysis also we have used a common source amplifier, but it was assumed that these coupling capacitors CC1, CC2 as well as bypass capacitor, they were acting like a perfect short circuits at the signal frequencies. Okay, so and also all the internal capacitances like CGS, CGD, whatever just now we calculated, so all those internal capacitances were also neglected while drawing the small signal model also and while deriving the expressions also. Okay, so and then by neglecting all these capacitive effects we derived the expression for the gain. Okay, so thereby our gain equation was simply independent of the frequency, but now we will have to consider the effect of input signal frequency on the gain of the common source amplifier. Okay, so therefore now let us look into the frequency response, which shows us 3 frequency bands. It is as shown here in this picture. So now you can see that it is a plot of the magnitude, that is V0 by VSIG versus the frequency. Okay, on the x-axis frequency, is plotted, and for different frequencies we have the magnitudes on the y-axis. Okay. So here you just observe what are the different sections are available, because we are discussing the 3 frequency bands. So you can see there are 3 bands: low frequency band up to FL, and then what is there, mid frequency band, and later on we have high frequency band. Okay, so the 3 frequency bands are nothing but the low frequency band, mid band, and high frequency band. And also here we see that there is a term called AM. Okay, so the AM here represents the mid band gain. Okay, so this particular graph is what? It is a sketch of magnitude of the overall voltage gain of the common source amplifier versus frequency. Now in that we observe that the gain is almost constant over some frequency bands. Of course, for a very wide band only it is remaining constant. This particular band where we observe a constant gain is known as the mid band or mid frequency band. Okay, and the gain in that mid frequency is indicated by capital A suffix capital M. Okay, and other than this mid band, on either sides we see that the gain falls off, even at the lower frequency side also, as well as at the higher frequency side also. Okay, so gain falls off at the signal frequencies below and above the mid frequency band or the mid band. Okay, so here the reasons are, that is, let us take the first part, that is low frequency band. So in the low frequency band the gain falls off, okay, because of the CC1, CC2 and CS, that is because of the coupling capacitors as well as the bypass capacitor. The reason here is at low frequencies, the impedances of these 3 capacitors increase. Okay, because we know that the capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency. So at the lower frequencies the impedance of these 3 capacitances is going to increase. Okay, so therefore they no longer act like short circuits. Because of that the gain is found to fall off. Similarly on the higher side also, similarly at the higher frequencies again the gain falls off, because of the reason that the impedances of again 2 more capacitances like CGS and CGD, they are going to decrease. Okay, at higher frequencies the impedances of CGS and CGD will decrease, and as these impedances are going to decrease they will no longer behave like open circuit. Okay, so because of the CC1, CC2, CS and CGS and CGD, the gain is found to fall in low frequency band and high frequency band respectively. So therefore only the mid band is the available useful range of frequencies, or the available useful frequency band for the amplifier, where we can expect constant gain for the applied input. Okay, so what is our requirement? We need a very wide, that is the amplifier will be good if it is having a very wide mid band, so that we can expect constant gain over a wide frequency range. Okay, so therefore here we can write the expression for AM, that is the mid band gain AM. Mid band gain AM is given by AM is equal to V0 by VSIG, that is equal to C minus RG by RG plus RSIG into gm r naught parallel to rd parallel to rl. So this is from equation 1. Okay. So we know the meanings of all this. So r naught here, r naught is nothing but output resistance of the MOSFET. Okay, remaining all other components like rd, rl, rg and rsig, so they are available in the circuit. Only r naught is nothing but it is the resistance, output resistance of the MOSFET. Okay, and its value will be very much greater than rd usually. So therefore now having written the expression for AM, which is nothing but the mid-band gain, it's possible to now write what is the bandwidth or what is the 3 dB bandwidth for the amplifier. So this 3 dB bandwidth is defined as the difference, you can see here, the difference between higher and the lower frequencies. That is, it's the difference between this FH and the FL. Okay, so therefore this is the first equation. Next we have the bandwidth is given by FH minus FL. Okay, but usually this FL will be very much smaller than the FH, so the bandwidth is almost equal to FH only. Bandwidth will be almost equal to FH. But if you want to write very accurately, then you can take the difference bandwidth as FH minus FL. Okay, so then there is one more figure of merit for the amplifiers, which is called as the gain bandwidth product. Gain bandwidth product. Okay, so this is defined as gain bandwidth product equal to magnitude of this mid-band gain into bandwidth. So this is another useful expression related to the 3 frequency bands. Okay, so therefore this is an introductory session to understand the frequency response of the common source amplifier. So here we have simply introduced a frequency response, okay, so for the common source amplifier, and also here an attempt is made to show how the gain is going to fall off at the lower as well as higher frequencies because of these various capacitances. Okay, so therefore in further sessions we are going to take up in detail the higher frequency response as well as the response towards the lower frequencies, and also we will try to know what are the components on which this FH as well as FL are going to depend. Okay. So we'll continue with the remaining concepts in the next session. Thank you.